Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of The Celtic Drama with me, Gary. So tonight we're doing another little episode of Dining Room Drams, but tonight it's a wee bit different. As you know, we normally pick out one of the samples or miniatures that I've got lying around on the shelves. But tonight what's happened is that Joel at Limitless Whiskey has actually given me a wee sample here. He dropped this one off to me on Sunday evening, and as you can see there is nothing on the bottle, which was nice of him. And he gave me the envelope with lots of questions. And what Joel has asked me to do is do a bit of a blind tasting on this one. Not something that I'm particularly good at, but I think he wanted to have a bit of fun with me. So yeah, for the last, like I said, he gave me on Sunday night. So for the last sort of 3 or 4 days, I've had random messages of various casks, various strengths, etc. Trying to play with my head a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll read this, the instructions here, and then we'll take it forward from there. Actually, should have put my glasses on, but it's not too bad. Okay, what it says is, before opening the answers, so I'm assuming the answers are inside here, have a go at guessing. And what he's done, he's put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. And the first question, distillery or region. Cask, so I'm assuming that, you know, what type of cask I think it's been matured in, etc. ABV, chill or non-chill, and has it got natural colour, or is the colour being played with? So 1, 2, 5 pretty, I suppose, standard questions you'd look at when you're tasting a whiskey. And what's he put on? Your tasting notes are individual to you. Of course, you put a wee bit enjoy. And do not open until the end of the recording. Okay, so knowing what I was going to do, and having pre-looked at some of these questions, I've got myself a wee pad here and pen for scribbling on. I've got some water, obviously got the whiskey, and I've taken out 2 glasses. I'll become apparent in a moment. What I'll say is, obviously I'm going to do the tasting live for the recording as such, but as we go I'm going to do a bit of editing, so as I'm doing the video I don't know what this is, but by the time you see it I'll have done some editing, so it may come across slightly differently. Looking at the questions, one of the first questions, as we said, was chill or non-chilled. So one of the things I'm going to do straight off is take some of this, a glass, I'm just going to put a little bit in the glass there. I've got me water dropper here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put several drops in. I could probably just have picked up the jug and poured it in, but the kids got me this lovely dropper for Father's Day, so I'm going to use it. So I'm going to put a few drops in, give it a wee swirly. I'm just going to put a topper on that one and we'll just leave it for a minute. One of the things about chill filtering, you kind of notice that a lot of whiskies, if you add water or ice, etc., try and take the temperature of the whiskey down, quite often in a whiskey that's been that is non-chill filtered will go a little bit cloudy. So with the question being chill filtered, non-chill filtered, I'm going to attempt to discover through that little experiment there whether it's been chill filtered or not. Okay, and what I'm going to now do, get the second glass of this out here and get some more of it in there and have a proper little smell it. straight off there is I almost want to say a peaty side fit or a smoky side or something slightly more than, say, a space side and things like that. So if he's asking me distillery or region, straight off I'm going to maybe take away the space side things. There is some space sides, etc., that you know, do different things, but knowing Joel as I do, I'm probably going to slide away from that. There's a little bit of burn to it. Not an uncomfortable burn. So that's, when I say not an uncomfortable burn, there's actually a slight wee burn on the nose. 2 seconds. That's maybe a wee hint on the ABV side of there that it's definitely more than 40. Yeah. On my wee scribble pad, I'm just going to write this. I'm going to put 50 plus next to ABV. And what did I say? Regions. So, I mean, you've got your Campbelltown, you've got your Highland, you've got your Lowland, you've got your Space Side. Where else have I gone? My God, Campbelltown, Island, Lowland, Space Side. What one have I got? Oh, of course, Island. So I've written them down there, and straight off I said I don't think it's a Space Side, so I'm just going to strike that one out. I'm looking at that. I don't know if that's really working, so I'm going to maybe add a wee bit more water into that one, see if it does anything. I'll just do that one a bit more. It's worth trying these experiments. It might narrow down some of the drums. Now cask. When I was on the nose there and I said it was slightly, not burning, but slightly higher on the ABV. There's a fruitness. A dark fruit, something like that. Possibly port, possibly a sherry, maybe even red wine. I mean, a couple of weeks ago I looked at Lefroy PX cask, so I mean that was a sherry Isla, and I said I thought there's maybe maybe a hint of the smokiness or something in there as well, so you never know. The more my nose goes in there, I'm thinking more away from the smoky thing. I'm thinking maybe more a saltiness in the background. It's maybe more a sort of Talisker style saltiness, you know, that maritime thing, maybe Old Pulteney, something like that. Campbelltown, that maritime air, that coastal. I mean, there's island ones there, you know, non-peated, Isla, Bunnahabhain. Bunnahabhain, they did a sherry cask, didn't they? I quite like the smell of it. I'm holding off from tasting it more. I really want to. When I look at the colour as well, holding it up to the different lights here, it's, I don't know what would I say, maybe a dark gold, maybe a slightly rusty gold. A lot of the time, if it's a young whiskey, I don't know the colour of it. But then again, if it's a sherry, port, or red wine, as I've maybe written down there, you know, I mean, that could just be colour coming from the cask. And that one. what did I say? A sort of maritime thing. So I'm just going to put something down there. Salty. You probably can't see it on the camera here, but this is gone. Sort of cloudy. There's a wee bit of sort of almost like I suppose if you want, sediment floating in the whiskey a little bit. Doesn't make it a bad whiskey. If you have a little bit of research on this, it's all to do with the oils, etc. in the whiskey, and when it goes through either chill filtered or non-chill filtered, a lot of time the chill filtering will remove certain things from the whiskey. And then non-chill filtering, they're still in there. And when you bring the temperature down, you can quite often see them. So adding a bit of water, adding a bit of ice, or even taking your bottle of whiskey, sticking it in the fridge or something for a couple hours or what have you, it'll bring the temperature down, and quite often it'll turn the bottle, or the whiskey in the bottle, cloudy. And it's a sort of indication if you're not sure if a bottle's been chill filtered or not. But I'm going to go with that. There's some sort of sedimenty cloudiness in there. So I'm going to write that this is non-chill filtered. Non-chill. One of the things I suppose you'll look at a lot of times when you look at whiskey is, if not always, but if things have been non-chill filtered, a lot of the time the whiskey developer, the whiskey company, the master distillers, everyone, they'll tend to go on this line of almost being a pure whiskey, and they'll not add the colour. Don't take that as gospel, but a lot of the time if they're doing one, they'll maybe do the other as well. And I'm going to jump out here on a little guess and say, because I think it's non-chill filtered, I'm looking at the colour and what I think the cask maturation is, I'm going to actually say that there's no colour added. As I said, these are my guesses, and as Joel put, tasting notes are individual, and I suppose, you know, that kind of things, without knowing what the bottle is, a lot of this is individual at the moment as well. So if I'm looking at, I thought a bit of maritime there. What I'm going to do is possibly, I'm trying to think in my head about, I've said maritime, but the ones I'm thinking about maritime wise, Talisker, Old Pulteney and Campbelltown. I'm gonna go away from the Islay. So those three, if I take those three out there, I mean that's Lowland out. So I'm left with the Highland and the Campbelltown. If we assume Talisker to be a Highland within the SWA definitions of the 5 regions. Talisker had that Portree, which was now is that Portree, that obviously port cask. It was a wee play on words, that wasn't it? King of the Port, Portree, and port. So yeah, it was port. So there's a coastal, salty, port cask matured whiskey there. Talisker. And one of the things about Talisker, quite often they have this this line with their ABVs, and I think it tends to be around about 45%, and I think that's higher than that. So I'm maybe going to rule out Talisker. Yeah, it's higher than the 45 in Talisker. And I suppose the other second thing, I've never thought about that, when I go back over this second glass here, as I said, I think it's non-chill filtered, and if I remember rightly with the Talisker, I think it is chill filtered. So I think I'll move that from the Talisker altogether. So we're in my head, I've got Highland, Old Pulteney, and I think at one stage they did a travel exclusive. I've never seen it or tasted it, which was, I think, sherry. I think it was quite heavily sherry, cask matured. Would Joel find it? Probably not. But then again, he got the travel exclusive Lefroy PX cask, so you never know. So at the moment I'm leaning towards a Campbelltown, but I don't know. Campbelltown, port, sherry, red wine. I suppose it's about time I had a wee taste of this. Oh my word. It was a bit like fruit juice at one stage there. When it first hit the mouth, I felt it, that the mouth, it was almost like a wee fruit explosion in there. Oh, that was rather pleasant. Definitely plus 50 ABV. And what was it? I had one the other day and it was almost at 60 ABV, and I don't think it was that round about there, but the fruit in there. Definitely plus 50. I'm going to go somewhere about 55 ABV. And I said it's a Campbelltown, so 55 ABV Campbelltown. The fruit explosion is more than sherry for me. I don't think it's a sherry, so I'm going to take that sherry out. I've got port and red wine left in there. Oh, that's... Every time it seems to get my nose. Now, I know I've already added water into that one there, but that's quite a significant amount of water, so I'm just going to put one little drop of water in here just to see it. If I get anything over on the flavour of it. It's quite hard to tell an age as well when you don't know an age. You don't know the maturation or anything, you know, guesstimations. I don't think it's a young whiskey, it might be. I've had some whiskies lately, particularly Ardnamurchan. You know, they're sort of about 5 or 6 years old and they've come across really well, so I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that young, I don't think it's that old. Even that wee drop of water has lightened it up a little bit. There's an oily mouthfeel to it. And I suppose if we're looking at the chill filter side of things, there's the oils there, things like that. Let's have a little look at the actual questions. I've got my scribblings here. So, distillery or region. That little process of elimination that I had there based on sort of the tastings and how it was coming over, I'm going to go on my things. I'm just going to write it onto the things now, so I'm quite happy with that one. And I'm going to write Campbelltown. One of the things is, well, like I said, Joel gave me this, and we have sort of similar but different tastes at different times. And one of the things was I recently gave Joel a sample of a Campbelltown. I can't think what it was now. And he quite enjoyed it. So I'm just wondering if he's gone off with that sample of Campbelltown and it's sparked something in him and he's starting to look at the Campbelltowns. You never know. He'd never had a Campbelltown before I gave him that wee dram. So you never know, it could be something there. Cask. I've written port and I've written red wine and I still can't really decide. I'm looking at the colour and I think the colour is influenced by either of these. Oh, Joel, it's a bit of a flip of the coin. I'll tell you what we'll do. I've one of my challenge coins. So I've got port and I've got red wine. We'll go black is the red wine. Okay, so we'll go for a wee flip. Well, wasn't the best flip, was it? Right, we'll go, what did I say? Black was red wine. So flip the coin, we'll go cask, red wine. ABV, I've said 50 plus and then I've written 55. So I'm gonna write 55, but it could be somewhere in that region. I'm making this up as I go along, by the way. Chill or non-chill, well, as I said, that's kind of, for me it's gone cloudy, there's something in there. So I'm taking that one as being non-chill. And when we talked about the colour, yeah, potential of that coming from the cask. And I'd like to think if they've gone to the effort of non-chill, that there's probably no colour added. I'm just guessing. So I'm going to write no colour. Basically, I'm absolutely terrible really at blind tasting. It's not something I enjoy. I like to know what I'm drinking. So we're doing that. Just like you see, like, it's still all sealed. Joel double papered it and everything, and like I said, he's been annoying me for the last 3 or 4 days about what it is. So I'm going to open this now because I've hardwired my answers. And we'll see what we're going with. He didn't trust me. He more paper in, I think. Right. Excuse my arm length here because I haven't got my glasses. Right. Mystery whiskey, distillery, Glen Scotia. I didn't write it. I just wrote Campbelltown, but I had that wee guess there. Joel, I'm going to take a point because you said distillery or region, and then you've written that there. So I'm taking a point, mate, because I'll take anything I can. What's it called? Campbelltown Malts Festival Edition. 2021. Oh, okay. So that's this year's Campbelltown Festival one. And yeah, as soon as I've read that, I kind of know that yes, it was red wine. What was it? Bordeaux red wine from. I have terrible French. Medoc region. Medoc. Yeah, Bordeaux red wine. So flip of the coin, I got red wine. I'm taking that one again, Joel, even though it was a flip of the coin for it. And what have we got? ABV 56.1. I put, initially I put plus 50 and then I put 55. 56.1. Are you letting me off with that 1.1 ABV? Put a wee comment, Joe. We'll put a wee question mark next to that. I think you should let me off with that. 1.1 ABV. This ain't no scientist. I ain't no computer, mate. You know what I mean? Chill or non-chilled. So he's got non-chill filter. We're taking that one. And then no colour, natural colour. And he's got a wee thing there saying it's cast strength. So I'll put that on there. Joel's, the tasting notes, and I'm not sure if this is Joel's notes or if it's what he's has come from the distillers. So we've got crushed red berries, red fruits, I said dark fruits, floral notes of rose and violet. I maybe didn't get any of that. Heather, honey, yeah, there was a sweetness, and he's got the maritime breeze. Yeah, I got a bit of the maritime about it, and that's one of the things that set me off down that sort of coastal, maybe Talisker down into the Campbelltown, so that's pretty cool. Palate opens on honeyed sweetness, vibrant strawberries and apple, lime citrus and toasted oak vanilla. Yeah, I don't think I actually found any citrus in there myself. I think I was concentrating too much on the fruit. Try to look at the cask side of things. To be honest, I've got a couple more drams there, so maybe as I come off camera and I have a wee sip of them, I'll discover some other notes in there. Finish, long and gentle, warming spices, cinnamon and aniseed. definitely, when I had it in my mouth, they're very warming. I really enjoyed it, and the mouthfeel, it was long, it was great. It was actually a really nice dram. So I'm quite happy with that. It's probably the first time that well, I'm not going to say I was about 100%. You know, can you give me 99? Well, what's 1.1 off? 98.9. I'm even going to write that down. I'm not proud of it. 98.9 on that mystery dram from Joel. Excellent. I'll be honest, not knowing what the dram was beforehand, I can't do a bit of research, but I know that it was a limited edition released for the Campbelltown Festival this year, which was a virtual festival. Limited edition, and I think it was going in the region of about 60 quid, but don't quote me on that, I'm not doing my research. Probably most of it's gone by now. Going by the taste of that, I think if anybody's had the first bottle of it, they've probably gone back for a second bottle of it. But that's a really, really nice dram. I do like a Campbelltown. I've got a couple up there on the shelf, and I said I've given other ones out to Joel in the past. Campbelltown has that maritime feel that I like. It has that saltiness that I like. One of my all-time favourites, strangely enough, is Talisker Storm. One of my friends, Ryan, he got me a bottle when it first came out a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it then. And it was one of these things that it engaged me straight away. The first mouth of Talisker and that maritime edge, you know, it took me off on a wee journey back to sea. So yeah, I really enjoyed this dram. Thank you, Joel, at Limitless Whiskey. If you jump on Instagram, guys, you'll find him on there. We'll see you again soon, guys. Slanja. Cheers. Hi.